following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee. Welcome into a Hump Day edition of Main Street Sports. Today on the program, we'll be joined by Miss Heather Williams, WCYB-TV. Also, Pete Weber with the Nashville Predators. Those are our guests today. A couple of topics we'll approach. XFL names coaches during the USFL opening week that's coming through this weekend. Interesting timing. Also, the Braves daily recap by the two biggest Braves fans this side of the Duck River. And it's Wild and Wacky Wednesday on this Hump Day edition, April 13th, 2022. Now to the Hall of Famer and Sports Writer of the Year, Mo Patton. Here's a Sundrop kid from Alabama, Chris Yao.
Welcome in. It is Wednesday, and we have a great show lined up for you. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm so excited to get into it. We have a ton of great stuff to talk about, including NASCAR, XFL, the Washington Commanders, some transfer portal craziness going on in college football. Obviously, the Braves are coming off a big win last night and struggling in today's game, and we'll just get to that when we get to it. Of course, Pete Weber, after juice last night with a heck of a night for the goalkeeper in gold. Big night for him and for Ryan Johansson, who gives the Preds a much-needed couple of points. And, of course, it's Wild and Wacky Wednesday, where we give you the weirdest and wildest news from across the world. All of that coming your way here in just a few short minutes. But before we get to any of that, we need to get to yesterday's results, today's schedule, and we'll do that by sending you back to JP for the rundown.
This is the rundown. All right, busy rundown as always. We'll get started in high school baseball scores from yesterday. It was Beach over Hendersonville, 5-2. Blackman down to Oakland, 3-1. CPA over Columbia Academy, 8-5. Portland with a pair of wins over Creekwood, 5-1 and 5-3. Colioca defeated Santa Fe, 18-8. Clarksville Academy over Davidson Academy, 13-2. DCA down Friendship Christian, 4-3. Summertown over Giles County, 4-3. Murfreesboro Central Magnet shut out Glencliff, 10-0. Collinwood also shut out Hampshire 12-0. Independence with a pair of wins over Columbia 7-1 and 8-1. Lawrence County shuts out Spring Hill last night. Rossview falls to McCracken County, Kentucky 10-3. But won the second game 7-6. McCracken County, an honorary TSSAA member at this point. Grace Christian Franklin over Middle Tennessee Christian 8-5. Lewis County 9-2 winners over Mount Pleasant. Nolensville shutting out Ravenwood yesterday 5-0. Portland with a pair of 1-0 wins over Creekwood. How about that? Rockville 13-3 over Eagleville. Siegel 5-1 wins over Riverdale. Stewart's Creek 9-1 over Smyrna. Tullahoma falls to Page 5-3. Richland down Wayne County 6-1. And Loretto shuts out Wilson from Alabama 8-0. High school softball yesterday, it was Clarksville 10-0 over Clarksville Northeast. Friendship Christian 11-6 over Clarksville Academy. Columbia Academy 16-0 over Franklin Road Academy. Lewis County shut out by Loretto 12-0. Lawrence County also shut out by Mars Bible out of Alabama 3-0. Siegel 13-1 winners over Oakland. Riverdale over Rockvale 8-2 the final there. Wayne County shutting out Santa Fe big 16-0, and Summertown doing the same to Mount Pleasant 9-0. On the pitch yesterday, Giles County putting 9 goals in the net over Lawrence County, 9-0. Smyrna 2, Murfreesboro Central Magnet 1. Oakland shutting out Riverdale 6-0. Blackman 3-3 tie with Rockville yesterday. Stewart's Creek falls to Siegel 2-1. Columbia shutting out Summit 3-0. Watertown 10-1 over York Institute, and Merrill Hyde 9-0 over Westmoreland. College baseball yesterday. Number 1 team goes down with the Wood Bats. They fall to Tennessee Tech in Knoxville from Smokies Park, 3-2 the final. Tennessee Tech with their first ever win over a number 1 ranked team, I believe, in history. Vanderbilt 7-4 winners over Western Kentucky. MTSU shutting out Lipscomb 7-0. Alabama 3-1 winners over Belmont, and Lee defeated Trevecca 9-8. In Major League Baseball, the Braves 16-3 winners on Tuesday over the Nationals, and that was last night. Already in action and almost complete. They are in the 9th, I believe, and 3-1. Guys, is that where we are currently in the 9th inning, Nats?
Yes.
Okay, so the Nationals winning 3-1. That's in the 9th inning. In minor league baseball, AAA, the Sounds fall to the Stripers 4-3, and in the NHL last night, the Preds 1-0 overtime winners over the San Jose Sharks. On tap for today, high school baseball at 4 o'clock. Maplewood at Antioch, Colioca at Collinwood. They'll throw out a pitch at 6 p.m. Independence at Columbia at 6:30 tonight. Father Ryan hosts Innsworth. That's a 4:30 first pitch. Trousdale County at Friendship Christian at 5:30. Middle Tennessee Christian will be at Grace Christian Franklin. 6:30 first pitch there. Wilson Central at Green Hill for his 6 o'clock start. Fairview at Harpeth at 6:30 this evening. Clarksville Northeast travels north to Hopkinsville, Kentucky for a 6 p.m. first pitch. At 4:30 this afternoon, Lipscomb Academy hosts Pope John Paul II. Brentwood Academy will be at MBA at 4:30 this afternoon. Station camp at McGavock tonight for a 7 o'clock primetime start. West Creek will be at Montgomery Central later tonight at 6:30. At 6, Blackman will be at Oakland. 6:30, Ravenwood hosts Nolensville. Siegel will be at Riverdale at 6. And Centennial will be playing Summit today. Check your local listings and your local front office for start times on that one. Softball, Webb School at BGA at 5 o'clock today. At 4:30, CPA will be at Davidson Academy. At 5, Santa Fe at East Hickman. Fairview hosts McEwen also at 5. At 4:30, Harpeth Hall is at Father Ryan. Glencliff hosts Pearl Cone for an early 3:30 start today. Clarksville Northwest at Joe Burns at 6 tonight. 4:30, we'll see Pope John Paul II hosting Brentwood Academy. Riverdale's at Smyrna at 6:30 tonight. At 5:30 will be Clarksville at West Creek, followed by Macon County at Westmoreland at 5. Coffee County at Wilson Central at 6:30 tonight. Boys soccer, 7 p.m. The lone game in Middle Tennessee, Page will be hosting Spring Hill. That's at 7 o'clock tonight. College
That's
softball.
at 5.
It's at 5.
It's at 5,
It's at
not 7.
5.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
The weather has dictated
moved it up.
Yeah.
And always a disclaimer, weather permitting with all of these, as storms are rolling through today. So, all right, college softball tonight, 6 o'clock, Tennessee hosting Western Carolina, the Catamounts, and the Sounds taking on the Stripers at 6:05 first pitch. Foul for the Sounds, Winans for the Stripers. And that is your Wednesday rundown. Brought to you by Insert Your Business Here.
That's right. You can sponsor today or tomorrow's rundown. If you'd like, just shoot us a message. CYOW or M Patton at mainstreetmediatn.com. Do not forget the TN. Very important. Or you can just
Very important, because we won't get it otherwise.
Right. Or you can just, message us on Twitter at ms_sports today.
Love to have you in this space here.
And I'll tell you, it is very economically advantageous for our reach. So,
Especially for our reach.
yeah. Today's top story and opening pitch comes from the left coast, where the San Francisco Giants made some history last night, Mo.
Inadvertently.
It wasn't on purpose.
No, it was not on purpose. Giants assistant coach Alyssa Nacken made baseball history when she became the first woman to appear as a coach in an on-field capacity in a regular season major league game. Nacken stepped in as first base coach for San Francisco in the bottom of the third inning after former Vandy boy Antoine Richardson was ejected from the game.
Wait, what was his role?
First base coach.
How you get ejected? You the first base coach?
Well, because you from your dugout get into a verbal confrontation with the third base coach of the San Diego Padres, former St. Louis manager Mike Schilt, and you have a overreaching umpire.
That's a heck of a situation there. So
it's a situation, and it's an ongoing situation as it turns out. So
that should be fun.
But yeah, bottom line,
looking forward to more San Diego, San Francisco games now.
There's
sticking up late night first pitches.
Take your nap. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot to look forward to, I think, because apparently San Diego got hot and bothered because somebody stole a base with the Giants up 10-1, and somebody bunted for a base hit in an eventual 13-2 game, and the unwritten rules and all that other stuff. And the Giants have decided they are not.
If there were rules, they'd be written, Mo.
Well, the Giants have decided they are not playing by the unwritten rules this year. And so,
the Giants said if there were rules, they'd be written.
Yeah. So, yeah,
that is phenomenal.
We're going to play until you get us out 27 times.
Well, I mean, we saw last night D. Strange Gordon beaning Travis d'Arnaud.
Yeah, with a 52-mile-an-hour fastball. Yeah.
Former Nashville Sound D. Strange Gordon. We'll talk about last night's game because we'll certainly want to spend more time on last night's game than we do on today's game.
As it is currently trending.
It currently sits.
Yeah.
Unless, and I'm not going to be upset if somehow the Braves were to come back and Kenley Jansen was to get a win, because my fantasy team could certainly use it. But that's neither here nor there.
It's all about you, isn't it, Chris?
Listen, I have what other reason do I have to watch Major League Baseball other than for my enjoyment, no matter whether it be as a fan or as a fantasy owner? I mean,
there you go.
Look.
There you go.
Yeah. Anyway, we got a great show lineup. Heather Williams is coming up, and she's going to tell us about what many, Mo, are calling the most boring race in NASCAR history, and that's a claim, to say the least. So interesting. We'll talk to Heather right after this on Main Street Sports Day, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. Y'all come back. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck, yes. That'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton, JP Plant on the controls back in the Berg. We come to you live from Columbia down here in southern Middle Tennessee, and glad to be with you as we are continuing to siphon through all of the sports from the weekend, from the yesterday, from the today, from the tomorrow. It's, to the Sunday, this coming Sunday, as a matter of fact. Actually, no, not this coming Sunday. It's Easter Sunday, and we don't race on Easter Sunday.
We'll have some other stuff going on, but not racing.
Right. The next race that we get, though, Mo, is in Bristol.
It's Bristol, baby.
Which means last week, firsthand knowledge comes from our friend Heather Williams, who was in Martinsville for, Heather, what many are calling the most boring race in NASCAR history.
So dramatic. So dramatic. It was not that boring. And I do have to correct you. We are actually racing on Easter in Bristol. The race is this Sunday. Yes, under the lights on Easter Sunday. When? Since this year. NASCAR wants to make a Easter event like the NBA on Christmas or NFL on Thanksgiving. So they have decided to race the dirt on Easter Sunday.
How's that going to go over?
It hasn't gone over that great, if I'm just being honest with you, with the people here in Bristol. But the track is trying to do some things to make it a little bit more inviting to the folks around here. They're having a huge, massive Easter revival service on site on Sunday afternoon at 4:00. So for those who are maybe staying at the track or can't go to service on Easter Sunday, they can come have this great revival service. They brought in a bunch of big names to do it. And
the question is, who's going to be leading the prayer? Because, that one pastor from Tennessee, when he did the prayer at Nashville Super Speedway.
Oh, I wish it was that guy. I think it's actually going to be Joe Gibbs, but
that's not bad. That's not bad. I would think that would be pretty acceptable to the large majority of fans.
Race fans, yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. You're talking about the guy who, thank God for smoking hot water.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
that guy was amazing. Oh, I have that saved on my phone because it's so awesome.
Best prayer in sports history.
It is,
folks.
without a doubt. But getting back to Martinsville, and then we can talk about Bristol a little bit. It wasn't the greatest race, and especially for Martinsville, a place where, a lot of people consider to be one of the great racetracks in the sport. But I actually blame the weather for the racing. NASCAR race cars do not perform well in cold temperatures, and you can't pass when it's cold. So
sounds like me.
And me. I was out there getting hit with sleet, and I was not enjoying myself.
Oh, goodness.
So, NASCAR, if they really want to race at night at Martinsville, what they need to do is either move it later in the season or just go back to running it in the daytime.
Yeah, well, it was certainly an interesting race from start to finish because everyone was kind of going, well, is anybody ever going to pass William Byron? Because he led 212 laps. And
the rest of the laps were led by his teammate.
And eventually, no one was going to pass William Byron. So if I'm not mistaken, this is another first-time winner this year. Is that correct?
No, William actually won down in Atlanta. He's the first second-time winner this year. And It was so funny because I was talking to drivers after the race, and everybody's complaining about the inability to pass. And then I got to Austin Dillon. He's like, I don't know. I started in 26th position. I passed plenty of cars to get to the front. So I guess it's all perspective, right? But for the most part, passing was very difficult.
Yeah, Ross Chastain started 27th and finished in the top 10 or top 5, actually, finished 5th. So, it was certainly a unique experience for a lot of fans who were expecting more from the Blue Emu Maximum Pain Relief 400, the Jeremiah Peabody polyunsaturated, et cetera, et cetera. When we look at the top 10 and you see only 2 Hendrick Motorsports cars, although one of them won, it's just unusual these days that Hendrick is just not dominating the top 5 or 6 positions. And is that a product of the new car?
A little bit. I think it's a product of strategy. I think what you saw happen is I think that the 5 and the 48 were on one strategy, and the 24 and the 9 were on a different strategy. And what the 24 and the 9 tried worked. I think when they come back to Martinsville, they'll all 4 be on that strategy, and you'll see them all up front. But I think part of having multi-race teams with the new car is everybody's trying to find something, right? Nobody has a notebook. So they're splitting up those strategies, and at a track like Martinsville, where it was very hard to pass, you couldn't change. Yeah, you like to train. We're right by the train.
I grew up next to one, so this is
that on the air here at the station. Sometimes it's that loud.
Wow,
that's funny.
But
it really is
out for those guys. Yeah, you can also hear thunder and lightning on the air in our station.
Well, I guess that's great for the meteorologists. Like, well, it's thundering outside currently. Can't miss that one.
On air updates.
Live and in person.
Before, when you didn't have me on camera, I was just in the audio booth, and so it was nice and contained from all the sounds. But it's not a very pretty picture. Not that this is much better, but I didn't want to be in a padded room.
I understand that completely. Looking forward to Sunday and this Under the Lights Bristol Motor Speedway, first time on Easter Sunday. Food City dirt race. Dirt is a different animal, and one, Bristol's a different animal. 2, you add dirt into the mix, and things are going to get crazy, as they almost always do. So what do we expect? The unexpected?
Yeah, who knows? When I talk to drivers, everybody has a different theory as to what's going to happen and how this racetrack's going to race, because not only is it dirt on Bristol, not only have we only done this once, but they've changed some of the characteristics of the track. They've gone from 19-degree banking to progressive banking, which goes from 16 to 20 degrees in the turns. And then they're also running at night, which changed the complexion of the race. So even the notes that they had from last year go out the window, not to mention we're running a brand new car. So who knows? Everybody expects it to be better than it was last year because of those changes, but everybody also expected Martinsville to be good last week too, and it was a dud. So who knows what we're going to get?
Well, last year there was a lot of dust, and I'm certainly it's always interesting when you get stock cars on dirt, because they're not supposed to be there. But this is, this next gen car certainly gives them an added bonus of the unknown. So if you were a betting woman, Heather, what would you say is the safe bet this weekend?
As far as the driver? Or
yes.
Okay.
Let's go with the driver first.
So we just taped our pre-race special, and I'll tell you who I'm picking, although it's a little bit of a out of the box underdog pick, if you will. But I'm picking for our race special, I'm picking Bubba Wallace. And now you may be looking at me saying, Heather, why in the world would you pick Bubba Wallace? He's not a dirt guy. He's run terrible this year. Why are you picking Bubba? Couple of reasons. First of all, he's not a dirt guy, but he doesn't have a win in dirt. He won at Eldora in the trucks, which is a very difficult thing to do. Also, The biggest problem with the 23 car this year has been their pit crew. Last week in Martinsville, he was running inside the top 10. They went over the wall too soon, and he got sent to the back of the field and never could pass because passing was impossible at Martinsville. This week at Bristol, we don't have live pit stops because of the dirt and the transition from the dirt to the concrete on pit road. You're driving in, you're coming in out of the pits exactly the order you came into the pit, so it doesn't affect your position in any way by having a bad pit stop. Those two things combined, I think, could work out very well for the 23. Now, if you're going to Vegas, don't pick the 23. If you're going to Vegas, you'll probably want to go with either Kyle Larson, who's a dirt expert, or Christopher Bell, or Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who actually finished second in this race last year. But I'm picking Bubba because I think that team has been underperforming and they're due for a breakthrough.
Heather, let me ask you, and again, it's well established. This is not my area of expertise if I have one, but I mean, can you fix a pit crew?
Sure, you absolutely can. Each of the pit crews have usually, I mean, they have the 5 guys that go over the wall, but they will usually have 4 or 5 other guys that train and maybe pit an Xfinity Series car or a Truck Series car and don't pick the primary car. So you can switch those guys in and out and try different things if the pit crew you have isn't working. It's also worth noting, too, that Bubba's crew chief has been suspended the last couple of weeks, which has probably not been great for his pit crew, but and he'll be back actually next week. He's still suspended this week at Bristol, but yeah, so there are definitely things you can do for the pit crew.
Before we let you out of here, I'm going to have to ask this question because, boy, has he been the name to know outside of the Cup Series, and that's Ty Gibbs. This guy has been nothing but a journalist's dream, I would assume, because there's something is going to come out of that Saturday or Xfinity race just about every time because he's going to give you something to talk about.
For sure. I mean, first of all, the kid is uber talented, right? I mean, he jumped into a car, ran part-time last year, and won Rookie of the Year as a part-time driver in the Xfinity Series. I mean, that's pretty much unheard of. I think he won 4 or 5 races. He's coming to this year. He won 2 races. He's on his way to winning a 3rd one this week at Martinsville. And then he met his old friend, Sam Mayer, who those two were rivals back in the day in the ARCA Series. Sam gave Ty a run for his money every weekend in the ARCA Series and is equally as talented. So, yes, he definitely gives us something to talk about. And I don't know that either one of those kids were necessarily not to blame partially for what happened. But I think the thing that's interesting is the Joe Gibbs aspect of this. Mm-hmm. There's no way Joe Gibbs liked what happened after that race. Nope. And anything that NASCAR said to Ty Gibbs after the race could not compare to what Grandpa Joe said after the race. So I would look for some of that to get under control because while his drivers certainly are the more temperamental guys in the garage when you look at a Denny Hamlin or a Kyle Busch, they don't generally throw hands. And so I don't think that you'll ever see that happen again from Ty Gibbs.
Well, if we
it's
don't,
kind of like getting in trouble at school and then getting in trouble at home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or getting in trouble at school and the principal is your grandfather.
Yeah, that's even worse. I mean, you better watch out is all I'm saying. It was certainly they came to blows. Basically, Mo, Ty Gibbs last week nudged his own teammate out of the way to get a win. This week, he gets hit in the left rear by a guy who, for all intents and purposes, had no chance of getting to the next position past Ty Gibbs. And they come to blows on pit road. And it was, exactly what you expect, an absolute melee. So
it's a throwback though, right?
Let me ask you two guys this question. Ty didn't take his helmet off, and a lot of NASCAR fans gave him grief. But Ty is much smaller. Right. He's much smaller than Sam Mayer. Keep your helmet on. Sam Mayer got a black eye. I mean,
I tell football players all the time, first thing I want to do is take the helmet off. You idiot.
Of course, I'm not going to punch somebody with a helmet on either. So
Exactly.
you know,
Right.
So if you don't take your helmet off, you're
You
less likely to get hit.
or get hurt if you do get hit.
So there you go. Heather Williams, WCYB-TV Talks NASCAR with us each and every Wednesday. Heather, thank you so much. We appreciate it. And enjoy your Easter Sunday at Bristol.
Yeah, all day Easter, but we'll get the church service and we'll get it done.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we've got all of this may be Mo's grab bag of the day. So the XFL has named some coaches. The Washington Commanders are under fire. Surprise, surprise. That's evergreen.
Go figure.
Josh Dobbs has a new team and some transfer portal news. All of that coming up as quickly as we can get to it in the next segment. So stick around on Main Street Sports Today. We'll be back after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Nobody covers high school sports like Main Street Preps, bringing you hyper-local coverage of the teams and athletes in your backyard. Wherever your Main Street is, we've got a podcast for you. From the Sumner County Sports Podcast with Zach Womble, Casey's Take on Sports with Dixon Post and Cheatham County Exchange's sports reporter Casey Patrick, the MSP North Podcast with Brady McAtamney and Blaine Keller covering Montgomery and Robertson counties, to Main Street Preps This Week with Russell Venozzi and Tyler Palmatier with a macro view of prep sports in Middle Tennessee. Find your latest prep sports on your Main Street at mainstreetpreps.com and find these podcasts dropping weekly on these Main Street media social platforms and wherever you get your podcast.
Oh, did you happen to see Columbia Academy down here in Maury County? You know, at pro games, you see the Home Depot Tool Race in Atlanta or the Country Music Star Race at the Nashville Sounds. Apparently, they had a ketchup, mustard, hot dog, and a Batman at Columbia Academy today. And
today?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm looking at pictures of it they posted them an hour ago. I'm not sure when it took place, but Marty DeJarnett is the mustard. And I thought that was hilarious. It looks like Richie may be the tomato. It just, and maybe it was at the softball game yesterday. I just don't know. All I know is I'm looking at the pictures and they're hilarious. So if you missed it, Columbia Academy has some great photos, and we'll put them or retweet them to our Twitter page here momentarily. Now, getting into the Moe's grab bag of exciting news across the world of sports, the XFL has announced its 8 head coaches, and the names are pretty darn impressive. Have you happened to see said names?
I've not.
Well, let me help you out.
Please do.
How about Reggie Barlow?
It's interesting because Reggie Barlow was named a couple of weeks ago. Reggie Barlow, who had been head coach at Virginia State, and once he left Virginia State, named interim head coach was former Tennessee State quarterback, former Tennessee State offensive coordinator, Shannon Harris, who I covered when he played there. And so there's always a Nashville connection.
There it is.
Well, not just that, but playing receiver at Virginia State is former Spring Hill quarterback Tyler Oden. So keep an eye on VSU this fall. I'm not sure if they are going to try to open that up over the summer or if they're going to go through the 2022 season with Shannon Harris or what the situation is, but certainly something to watch. But yeah, Reggie Barlow, and among the names, Terrell Buckley, T-Buck,
Rod Woodson. Okay, right. It's a little interesting. Anthony Becht,
former tight end from Iowa, right? And NFL tight end.
Jim Haslett, Hines Ward,
Pittsburgh Steeler flavor, huh?
Rod Woodson and Hines Ward are kind of unique in this situation here. Bob Stoops, which coached in the XFL last time, so not super surprising, but a little bit. Wade Phillips. That one kind of threw me for a little bit of a loop there.
You know, it's interesting though. I mean, you've got some guys that give you some credibility for quote minor league football when you start talking about Stoops and Phillips in particular, and again, Barlow has been on the collegiate level for quite a while. So have they been assigned to teams or
there have not been teams named to this point?
So they've just hired coaches.
They've hired 8 coaches, and you guess maybe you bid on where you want to go. I don't know.
Okay.
The Washington Commanders are under fire again. As in 1997, they sent out season ticket packets and said, if you pay this 25% up front, and then when the contract is over, a multi-year contract, when the contract is over, we will refund you the deposit. Well, 2 years into these contracts, the Washington Redskins are sold. And so they have to honor the contracts, but they don't have to make it easy. So if you call after your contract is over and you say, hey, I don't want to renew my tickets, let me get my refund, they're like, okay, but you got to send us a certified mail letter to get it. So like 5 to 10% of people actually went through it, including Roger Goodell was an owner of one of these seats. And I mean, then they were underreporting their numbers to league revenue share. So they were putting revenue into other like buckets that that would have not gone into the revenue share bucket. So yeah, the Commanders are, if anybody's looking to have to relocate an existing NFL team, I got a feeling the Washington Commanders may be.
I don't know, man. I can't see there not being NFL football in Washington. I mean, they were one of the founding franchises of the league. I don't imagine that's going to happen. I can't imagine I can't imagine them forcing Daniel Snyder to sell it, though.
Yeah, he's going to have to go.
So
I
mean, if you could force Jerry Richardson out at Carolina, I don't know why you couldn't force Daniel Snyder out.
I mean, I guess there has to be some sort of link between Goodell and Snyder at this point, because how he has not already been
with everything that has been connected to that franchise. Yeah, it's a link. I like the way you put that. Maybe somebody got pictures or something. Who knows?
They must have something. I don't know what it is, but it's been one thing after the other, kind of like Ty Gibbs. It's just like, speaking of connections to Washington.
Wow.
that was unintended, but even better.
Former University of Tennessee quarterback Joshua Dobbs, who Chris cannot follow on Twitter.
I was about to say, I wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know this. Yeah, no, you would not know this. Has apparently signed with the Cleveland Browns. I don't know if the Haslam's had anything to do with this or not, but he has joined the quarterback room there, along with obviously Deshaun Watson, Jacoby Brissett, and Baker Mayfield as of right now. So spent the past 2 years with the Steelers, played in one game, completing 4 or 5 passes for 2 yards. Overall, in 6 professional games, he has completed 10 of 17 passes for 45 yards and a pick between the Steelers and the Jacksonville Jaguars. So,
finally, last thing on our list, couple of items to get to in the transfer portal. One, JT Daniels has a new home. The former Southern Cal. Another one. DJ Khaled over here. This former Southern Cal and University of Georgia quarterback will take his talents
to Morgantown.
To
almost heaven.
Almost heaven.
Almost heaven.
West Virginia.
Blue Ridge Mountains. Yeah. That is Heather back on?
Right. No trains, but we got sirens here in Columbia.
Goodness.
And then former Vanderbilt football player Tyler Steen has a new home, and he's
trading up.
Talk about it.
Boo.
Headed to Tuscaloosa.
Started at the bottom.
Boo. Hey now.
now we're here.
Hey now. Come on, Mo.
That's so good. Oh man. Look out. All right. So we got the grab bag done. We're going to take a quick break because it's halftime and we want to get to some stuff that's outside of the world of sports. So you guys stick around on Main Street Sports Day, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We will be back after this.
Welcome in, everybody, to another fantastic edition of Mornings on Main Street. Fun show planned for today. Please tell me you know who this is.
Of course I know who it is. I mean, I just want you, let's say it together.
You have no idea, do you?
Your car broke down, you're walking.
That's true.
Hey,
is the thing on?
Hold on a second, Chris. Okay. Hey, what did I tell you about comedy?
Right.
Let's do comedy.
Make sure that it's funny.
It gotta be funny. I figure it's easier. It's harder for you to say no if we do this live.
I'm still waiting to meet you with the crystal, so I'll take anything.
We'll get it all done there. Thank you. As the voice of the crowd will be me as Bob Hope, and has that cute well with the pearl necklace is.
So I'm going to be Russell Brand, and I just want to go ahead and give a preface of it might be really annoying. So
okay,
all right,
it's preface. Preface is what happens when your girlfriend's going out on the town and you're like, hey, get ready. Say, I put my face on. Grilled ground lamb and beef wrapped in lavish and topped with a savory tomato
It's
sauce.
lavash.
What is that?
Lavash.
I told you, you're dealing with the redneck country boy on this side over here of the screen.
That's okay.
Presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton, JP Plant back in the Berg. And we continue here. It's halftime. And, I say we were going to get out of sports, but, I wanted to talk about this because this was on my Facebook page yesterday. You weighed in as well. The two umpire situations, one in Mississippi, the other in Texas, where umpires were assaulted by parents or coaches. And my goodness, man, why, the folks just coming out of the woodworks and let's see, let's hear the whole story. Well, I mean, the whole story is that you pushed an umpire and he was in the hospital, bro. That's the whole story.
That's pretty much the whole story. I mean, the rest is just details, but I don't think there's anything that's going to make that okay, I get it type situation.
I like how the coach went and did an interview with somebody and said, well, he was up in my face. He hit my hat just before I punched or pushed him. Well, yeah, he hit your hat because you were in his face while he was walking away, and he chunked you, and he hit your hat because you were that close to it. Nothing in that video corroborated anything that coach had to say, which was hilarious. So, it's interesting that you see things like this happening to youth league umpires. Look, I mean, we've talked about umpires. We've talked about officials on this show and how, they can be deserving of criticism, but they're never deserving of physical assault.
No, everything you just said. I mean, umpires are human.
Exactly.
And umpires will make mistakes. And I'm not really one of those that says, well, just be glad you've got umpires. No, I mean, if they're out there to do a job, then there is an expectation. There is a standard, and they're affecting the outcome of situations. They're not above being called on that when they get something wrong. But that doesn't give you the right to abuse them.
That's right. There you go.
So
that is the take of the day right there. No question, you nailed it. No reason to ever be in that situation with an official. I mean, the reason I don't umpire baseball to this day is because when I was 16 years old, a coach that did almost the exact same thing. And when he walked out to home plate, I'm 16 years old. I'm scared to death, and same situation, literally play at the plate. I called the kid out instead of safe. Coach comes out, upset at the call, and I threw him out and sent him to the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God that he wasn't as mad as this guy. So
it's not good. It's not good at all. And I mean, I had a phone call from the guy that I do some summer league umpiring for now, trying to recruit me for this evening, and or tomorrow evening, excuse me. No, I'm not available, but I mean, just the fact that he's still scrambling right now, trying to get games covered, both youth league and some middle school stuff. It's not a good situation right now.
Nope.
And incidents like those don't help.
Absolutely not. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk about the Braves momentarily, and then we will get to Pete Weber talk about last night's Preds game. So stick around. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint, comes back after this.
This is Chris Yao with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. AP Tennessee Sports Editor, three-time Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year 2020 TSWA Hall of Famer. She covers the Titans, the Predators, the Grizzlies, college football, and hoops. Please make welcome Teresa Walker.
Former University of Tennessee, former Team USA Olympian, ex-Cy Young Award winner, R.A. Dickey. R.A., did I miss anything?
Man, that was sweet. Yeah, I need to listen to that before I go to bed every night. That was nice.
Has 5 sports Emmys. That's not bad for the other guy in Wham, Ryan McGee.
The other guy in Wham married the best looking girl, Bananarama, so the other guy in Wham had a pretty good life.
From preps to pros, we're taking on the sports topics you care about. Tune in across Main Street Media social platforms at 2 p.m. or on demand on your podcast distribution platform of choice.
Time for the second half of Main Street Sports Today. Coming up, little Braves conversation and this day in Braves history. Also, back by popular demand, the great voice of the Nashville Predators, Pete Weber, will be joining us. Also, Wild and Wacky Wednesday. No coincidence there. This is Main Street Sports Today on this Wednesday, April 13th, Hump Day. Back to the Hall of Famer Mo Patton and the Sundrop Kid from Alabama, Chris Yao.
Welcome back in. It is Main Street Sports Day, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. I am Chris Yao, joined by Mo Patton, and that was the voice of JP Plant, who is on the controls back in the Berg. Mo, let's go ahead and get this day in Braves history out of the way, because it comes from not too long ago.
Relatively speaking. April 13th, 2011, Chipper Jones' solo home run in the bottom of the ninth spoiled the Marlins' bid for a shutout, Florida settling for a 5-1 victory at Turner Field. The home run gave Jones 1,500 career RBI, making him the third switch hitter in Major League Baseball history to reach that milestone, behind Mickey Mantle's 1,509 and Eddie Murray's 1917. So, congrats to Chipper on this day, 11 years ago.
There it is.
The Hall of Famer.
The Hall of Famer, Chipper Jones. Braves got a big win last night. Offense came alive, and, not unsurprisingly, we said this. I said this earlier. Pitchers that the Braves have seen, they typically have an eye for, especially Patrick Corbin. Patrick Corbin has not been good against the Braves in his last 7 starts. He's 0-7 with like a 14 ERA. So,
well, it didn't come down last night.
It didn't come down last night, no doubt.
Yeah, 16-4 victory last night. Ozuna with a couple of home runs. Bryce Elder gets his first major league victory in his major league debut. Jackson Stevens, with 3 innings of relief, gets the save in a 12-run game. So good for him. But 16 runs on 19 hits. They scored, the Braves did, in 6 of their 8 at bats, and scored multiple runs in 5 of those. So shows you what the offense is capable of. Now, replicating it, apparently,
not the case.
No.
But we do need to give Bryce Elder his due, because Bryce Elder did look fantastic last night. Had a great outing, got a little gassed late, and that's,
as somebody posted on Twitter, elders do get a little tired after 9.
After 9,
yeah,
I did see that. That was pretty good.
Yeah, Elder goes 5 2/3, allows 6 hits, 3 runs all earned, no walks, 4 strikeouts, 2 jacks.
But the back-to-back home runs were when he was up 12-1. I think you pitch a little differently, especially when nobody's on and you're up by 10 runs.
Yep, you're trying even harder to throw strikes
Sure.
at that point.
Yeah,
because
let
you
the
know
defense work.
the last thing you want to do when you're up like that is walk people.
Right. Yeah.
That's how you really earn the ire of your pitching coach and your manager.
Yeah, no question. It's like, listen, give up solo home runs all you need to right now. Just get it over the plate. Not everybody's going to hit one out. I mean, it's just not going to happen. So, and then we got we got to see D. Strange Gordon throw some pitches, which was hilarious. The 81 mile an hour pitch that he threw to I think it was Matt Olson was hilarious because nobody saw that coming. I mean, he'd been throwing 58, 61, and then he had 2 strikes. It was 2-2 count on Olson, and then he burns one by him.
Put him away, huh?
81 on the inside, just inside. So he ended up walking him. But man, had he got him with that 81, I don't know what you would have done. You just like, well,
he could burn that speedball by you. Huh?
Well, Travis Darno said he throws gas. Did you see that Instagram post? It was phenomenal. So, it was a great game last night, enjoyable. Jack Morris used to say, fellas, I've never lost with 10 runs. So there you go.
And neither has Bryce Elder.
But Max Fried, another not great outing, but not terrible outing.
Yeah.
I think, 7 hits is not what you want to see. 3 earned runs and 5 1/3. Braves had just 2 hits on the day.
Mm-hmm.
No, 3 hits. I'm sorry. They got the 3rd hit in the ninth. Right before Marcell Ozuna grounded into a game-ending double play.
Right. Yeah.
Tough day. And now you go on the road. It's not fun to deal with the road trips, but perhaps getting out of the Truist Park and getting out of the gold uniforms will help.
You don't think they'll wear gold on the road?
I probably wouldn't. I mean, based on what we've seen so far.
Yeah, I don't think it's the uniforms. I just think it's early in the year, and I think it's that you still don't have number 13 out there yet.
Which is going to make a massive difference in that lineup. I mean, if Marcell Ozuna is able to replicate what he's done in the first few games here throughout the season, Matt Olson's able to replicate. The only 2 players in the National League with multiple 3-hit games are Marcell Ozuna and Matt Olson. So if those 2 stay hot and you get Acuna back into the leadoff spot, get Albies into a place and Rosario into a spot where they know they're going to be. I mean, 1 through 6, really 1 through 7, even Duvall and Darno look unbeatable. I mean, you're going to score runs with those 7 guys.
And you'll, once Acuna is back on the field, you'll be able to somewhat solidify the DH position as well, which only leaves
Dansby, which has been, well, last night had 2 hits. So, hopefully that'll help him get jump started.
Something needs to get him jump started.
It's been a rough. Dansby has never started well, ever.
Well, he had that one year that he had worked with Chipper in spring training, and he was really staying on that slider pretty well. And then
going oppo with it.
Mm-hmm. And then he injured his foot, I think, and never could get back to there. But it's glaring at this point. His offensive. His lack of consistency offensively.
Oh, he's been pretty consistently bad this far, but I know what you mean. Consistently good.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not been there. And so, if it just takes him some time, that's fine. His glove is really good, but I don't think Arcia's is that much worse. So, and as well as he's been hitting in the DH spot, I don't know why you don't just hit him.
Throw him out there.
Play him.
I mean,
who knows?
Again, at some point, you're going to have to sit Dansby just to
get him out
of his head. Yeah.
Maybe this road trip will help. It does sometimes. So, All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Pete Weber of the Nashville Predators joins us. So stick around. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint, is back after this.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Big win last night for the Nashville Predators as they get a much-needed 2 points win. An overtime victory on a shot that wasn't even supposed to be a shot, Mo. Legit, dude. Ryan Johansson was trying to go back door, and it just so happened to get deflected, goes into the net. Preds win.
Rather be lucky than good, right?
Sometimes. So I'm curious, if the radio play-by-play voice was as surprised as Ryan Johansson was that puck went in, and we're joined now by Pete Weber, who is, in fact, the radio play-by-play voice. Pete, was it surprising to you to see that one go in?
Well, the way the game had gone to that point, guys, and the Predators and the Sharks both had so many just gorgeous scoring opportunities that they could not convert. I'd have to say I'd be surprised if any. I was actually anticipating that it was going to be a shootout. And Mark Borowiecki, broken mouth and all, after getting cross-checked in the face on Sunday afternoon in Pittsburgh, that he would be the last shooter in the shootout, and he'd go down and make some glorious behind-the-back move and win the game that way. So in that sense, I guess I was surprised. But the way that Johansson and Ekholm have been working together, not shocked, certainly.
Well, I was, after UC's miracle save, I was just sure.
Which one?
That, well, the last one where he did the entire splits.
Yes.
From post
he
to
looked
post.
like Harmon Killebrew there, didn't he, Mo?
It was.
I like the way you referenced me on that one, since Chris didn't see him. Yeah.
Yes.
There's that. I mean, it just felt like the Preds were finally destined to get one to go their way.
It did seem that way. And there was, both games over the weekend where they got just 1 point out of a possible 4. Both games, they probably played well enough to deserve to win. Last night, they definitely did. And finally, it came through for them. But it was almost like somebody had put a top on the basketball rim, like they seemed to do in the fourth quarter last night for the Clippers.
Yeah, outshot San Jose 41-25. didn't go to the box, but for 16 minutes, that's the type of thing that has to happen for Nashville for them to be successful throughout the rest of this season. But with Dallas on their heels, Pete, what do the Predators have to do to keep from going to Colorado in the first round?
Keep winning. And that's, I know it sounds very simplistic, but that's exactly what they have to do. So the next challenge is Edmonton tomorrow night. They might be a little bit owly coming in here after a loss in their game last night. And the Predators have not had a great deal of success in the last number of games against Edmonton. They've gone 0-4-1 against them, their last 5 outings. So this is an Edmonton team that can cause an awful lot of damage. And the games have been tight, but still the Oilers, with those fantastic scorers in McDavid and Draisaitl, have been able to prevail over the course of the last year and a half.
The problem with the schedule, Mo, the Oilers have more wins. The Blues have more wins. The Flames have more wins. The Lightning have more wins. The Wild have more wins. We play the Flames again. The Avalanche, of course, have more wins. 2 of the remaining games this month do the Predators have against teams with worse records.
But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those games are at Bridgestone, including last night being the first of 5 in a row at home. So even though you are playing teams that you are looking up at in terms of win totals, you've got to make this home ice advantage work for you.
Absolutely. There's no question about that. And of those home games remaining, 2 are against Calgary, which I think has been the number 2 scourge team in the Western Conference, behind and sometimes even with Colorado. And they have 1 more game at home left with Minnesota. And we saw what Minnesota did last night to Edmonton. They play a heavy game, and they are a heavily skilled team as well.
Speaking with Pete Weber, the voice of the Nashville Predators here on Main Street Sports today. Again, this next 4 games at home, and as Nashville tries to make this final push, and you say keep winning, and yeah, it does sound simple, but they've definitely got their work cut out for them, as Chris just pointed out.
It certainly does not. It was certainly easier said than done.
Yeah.
Much easier said, as I think the case in all sports, to be without question.
Well, home ice for these Predators has been kind of their go-to. I mean, you look at historically, this team has played really well at Bridgestone because, well, the fans show up and the fans make a difference. So you've got to have that starting tomorrow night against these Oilers.
Well, I'm going to say continuing tomorrow night against the Oilers. They have to do it that way. That is, and the Oilers are a club that have high level talent. They have added a few extra pieces around since then, but they still don't have this is the Edmonton Oilers of the current day, not the Edmonton Oilers of the 80s with Gretzky, with Messier, with Anderson, with all those high talented players, and including Grant Fuhr in goal. This is a current generation version of that. And sometimes we got to question what they can accomplish on the defensive side of the game.
One of the things that we talk about on this show, Pete, is when the Tennessee Volunteers went to Kentucky and had a rough night, to say the least. And, it certainly seems like sometimes when you're honoring your big time contributors throughout history, your team seems to play a little bit better. Well, April 17th, they will honor Terry Crisp, and hopefully the Preds will play just a little bit better and take down the Blues.
That would be very nice. It's interesting because the Blues are, as far as Terry's personal history is concerned, where he got his first regular job in the NHL as an expansion team in 1967. He played there 5 years. The first 3 years they went to the Cup final. The way the league was set up then, they didn't win a game, but they were in the Cup final. And Terry had just gone back to the bench before Bobby Orr scored his flying through the air overtime goal. And then Blues coach Scotty Bowman had given Crispy the assignment of covering his homie, Robert Gordon Orr. So he was very thankful that he was on the bench when Bobby Orr scored the Cup winner.
Wasn't me.
I had my man, as it was said to somebody after Willie Mays made the great catch in center field in the World Series. Don Liddell came in, left-hander, pitched against Vic Wirtz, and he got that 480-foot fly ball that Willie Mays was able to haul in miraculously. And then they made the change, and he goes, "Hey, I got my man. You go ahead and get this next guy."
Just a long out.
It's just a long out.
Long out. That's it.
Throughout the rest of the month, Pete, what's going on at Bridgestone that fans can be excited about? I know open house is later this month.
Yeah.
So what else is going on? What can we expect down on Broadway?
Well, just honoring Terry on Sunday, and this is going to be a very emotional time for me because we were together every day at this outset of the franchise on radio and television. And it's very difficult for me to imagine going in there and maybe Terry wouldn't be there that particular day because he is retired. I mean, we have had a great relationship over the years that grew greatly and quickly, almost instantaneously, because Jerry Helper, who was our director of communications and is just retired from the team, he had this instinct that the two of us would have pretty good chemistry. And I think probably Jerry should have been hired by the Dow Chemical Corporation after that one because it worked out extraordinarily well, still does to this point in time. So I'm really looking forward to the weekend. I hate to sound like I'm uttering coach speak to you, but I'm only thinking one honoring at a time.
Well, Terry Crisp, the National Sports Media Association's Broadcaster of the Year, to go along with our very own Mo Patton, who is the Sports Writer of the Year. So that's exciting, and perhaps one day, Pete, we can honor Mo at the Preds game.
Let's do that. Let's do that. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I mean, I thought that we were going to have even more people. I thought that we'd have quite the throng for the Sports Writer of the Year award last year, Mo, that I was lucky enough to come over to the banquet for.
Well, hopefully we will have a throng. I don't know how much of a throng it'll be, but I'm looking forward to that and looking forward to hanging out with Crispy. That in itself will be worth the price of admission.
There's no question there. Pete, before we let you go, just want to say, we appreciate you and everything that you have done for us here at Main Street Sports today. It's been a pleasure to hang out with you throughout the season, and hopefully we'll get back with you before and during the playoffs.
Let's do something during the playoffs if we possibly can, and let's keep that going as long as we can. They're trying to get into it right now, but I'm not going to pull back on this one. In 2017, which team was the last team to make the playoff field, and which team went to the Cup final?
Hey, just get in.
That's right.
Once you're there, anything can happen.
0-0, baby.
Yeah.
All you got to do is get into the playoffs. Pete, we appreciate it, man. Thank you so much, and look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thank you for the invitation. I really appreciate it, boys, and keep on doing the great job on the show.
Thank you. Yeah, this Predators team has been talk about lack of consistency. It's been kind of a weird year. You know,
Joe Rexroad of The Athletic had a nice article earlier this week, maybe Sunday or Monday, just talking about all of the individual accomplishments. And we've kind of talked about it here on the show, all of the individual accomplishments that the Preds have accounted for, and the awards that they are probably going to be in consideration for once the season ends. But the team success that you would expect to go with that hasn't quite been there for whatever reason. And it's really kind of tough to put a finger on why.
I think what we got was a lot of production out of those guys during that really long winning streak that the entire city of Nashville was having earlier in the year. But also, I mean, it just seems like there have been some players who have been consistent all year, and UC perhaps getting his second wind now, which is exactly what you've got to have for this team to be successful throughout the rest of this month. Because again, this is going to be a difficult month ahead, and
we've seen him put this team on his back.
We have seen him do that, and that's the thing. But it's just like, man, you look at the schedule and you go, okay, if there's ever a team that's going to play to its competition, this team needs to do it right now. So should be fun. All right, let's take a quick break, Mo, and come back, because Wild and Wacky Wednesday gets. I told you before this last segment that I've got some crazy ones. So it's
going to be wild and wacky.
It's going to be a lot of fun here in the next segment. So y'all stick around. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint, comes back after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TWSAA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Main Street Today is your half-hour coffee break with Miss Devin O'Day, featuring lifestyle, inspiration, and entertainment news. Main Street Today airs live weekdays at 11 a.m. Central, or you can catch it on demand on all the Main Street media social platforms, including highlights on Instagram at Main Street Today Radio. Take your daily coffee break with Devin O'Day on Main Street Today weekdays at 11 a.m. on Main Street Media social platforms.
Welcome back in. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Couple things. One, the weather is supposed to get pretty rough tonight at some point, and that it has moved several sporting events up in time. So make sure to check on Twitter or check with your local coaches or administrators on the times for games, but I wanted to mention that because did you happen to see the weatherman who like stopped his weather forecast to call his kids? So there's a tornado coming, and NBC Washington meteorologist Doug Kammerer says, "Hey, hang on." Calls his kids and is like, "Hey, you need to get to the closet or whatever. Get into a safe space because it's headed your way." Blah blah blah. Literally on live television. Like, that is phenomenal. I thought that. I mean, that's a wholesome way to start Wild and Wacky. But boy, how crazy is that? Dude was like, "Hey, I got to warn my kids because I know what my kids are doing right now, and they're probably online gaming and they're not seeing this." So
some great parenting there.
That is phenomenal parenting. Yeah. He says, "Kent, you there, buddy? Hey, man, I want you to get down to the basement. We got a tornado warning. I want to make sure you and Callie get down as soon as you can. Get in the bedroom down there and wait 10 or 15 minutes, okay? Do it now," he says. So that was pretty cool. That's a heck of a wholesome way to get started.
Here we go. Goes downhill from there, doesn't it?
Yeah. JP, can we hear you now?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, all right.
There he is.
I was worried earlier today. You never know what all works and what doesn't, but I'm glad you can hear me. Pete heard me. I could tell when he was watching in when I mentioned about Pete being on the show on Wednesday and Wild and Wacky. Coincidence? I don't know. Pete got a chuckle so he could hear me, so that was good.
Certainly not coincidence at all. No. An update to a previous Wild and Wacky story.
Oh, okay.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
I like this.
Rarely do we get updates, but
Follow-ups.
you remember when Mike Tyson put out his ear-shaped gummies?
Yes.
I'm not even sure if I mentioned that these are they're edibles. They're not just like gummies. They're actually edibles.
Edibles with something.
Yes,
the edibles.
Yes.
Edibles. Yeah.
Yes.
What you think edible is
exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Good for him.
one of the places where edibles are sold over the counter is in Colorado.
Okay. Yep.
Well, chew on this.
Oh.
Mike Tyson cannot sell his edible gummies in Colorado because they are shaped like ears, and it says they will attract children. The law states that it cannot be shaped like humans, animals, fruit, or other images that could attract children, and apparently an ear with a bite missing would attract children.
But would it?
No, but it's just because it's an ear.
It's close enough.
So it falls under the human.
Where are kids going around chewing on ears though?
Listen,
unless it's Mike Tyson's kid. I mean,
I'm sure this was a play to not make Flintstone type characters or whatever, but it just happens to fall under that law. So Mike Tyson cannot sell his edible ears. In
Colorado.
In Colorado.
Right.
Okay. I don't know if this changes anything in Vegas.
That's a Colorado law.
Yes, that is a Colorado state law.
But the body part, edible can't look like a body part.
Right.
Okay. Yes,
so
move on, please.
we've got two unrelated yet loosely related news stories here. One, a video coming out of San Francisco's Richmond district where a driverless car was stopped by police.
I heard about this.
And
I guess it fit the description, huh?
It must have. San Francisco police stopped one of Cruise's autonomous Chevrolet Bolt EVs. I don't know. Cruise is a company of some sort. Yeah.
Okay.
And because the car's headlights were not on despite being at night. In the video, an officer can be heard saying, quote, "There's nobody in it." But a few seconds later, after the officer walks back to his police car, the autonomous vehicle, perhaps deciding the traffic stop was over, tried to drive away. before pulling over to stop a few hundred
That's
feet
what
away.
you get for thinking. That's what you get
Don't
for
think.
thinking.
It'll only hurt the
It'll
team.
only hurt the team.
Who do you write the ticket to?
I don't know.
Maybe Bruno Reagan's dad. I don't know.
Mac Reagan catching strays here on Wild and Wacky Wednesday. Cruz,
You had
Cruz,
to listen to yesterday's show to get that one. So.
You know, I wonder how that went over at Parks and Rec.
Hey, he retweeted the video, so
There you go.
the company Cruz says the car wasn't trying to make a run for it. The vehicle first yielded to police and then pulled over to a safe spot for the actual traffic stop, the company says. One of the police officers contacted Cruz to inform him of the situation. The driverless car did not receive a ticket. Cruz says it has fixed whatever caused the car to drive without its headlights at night. It's not the first time a driverless car has been spotted by the police. 2015, a self-driving car from Google from their car project was stopped in Mountain View, California for going just 24 miles an hour in the 35 mile an hour speed limit. So again,
nobody was in the car, right?
No person in the car.
I get driverless car.
No
but
driver,
nobody
no
was-
passenger, nobody. The car was
Okay.
empty.
Empty. Okay.
Empty of all passengers, of
It
all
wasn't just
humans.
Somebody sitting in the back seat just chilling.
So what would you do if you're driving down the road and you look over and you see a driverless car?
Oh, let me tell you. I'm not sure what I would do, but it would probably be a similar situation to when I looked over one time and saw a guy wearing a Darth Vader mask
Oh, God.
and had to do a double take. Very confused. I'm sorry, what?
dangerous.
What in the world? You're
I
right,
think it is
peripheral.
dangerous. Contrary to what Bruno had to say yesterday. I mean,
I don't
know that we give ourselves too much credit, but
I don't mind self-driving cars, but autonomous driving cars I have a problem with. I need there to be a human in the vehicle
car
to fix in the event that headlights aren't turning on.
well, I mean, if I'm in an accident with an autonomous driving car, I mean,
Then
who,
what?
Who do I hit?
Who do
Then
you
what?
swap insurance with, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
How do you get insurance for that? Who pays for that?
Finally, again, loosely related here, a police officer in Lebanon, Ohio has resigned after the police division said a self-directed internal audit revealed the officer had, over the past 4 years, conducted traffic stops where no citation was issued. Eric Holmes would complete a traffic citation form and submit the citation to the agency for internal accountability only, but the department said at no time were any vehicle operators issued citations that were not completed at the time of the traffic stop and properly submitted for internal municipal court proceedings. The department said Holmes resigned during the investigation. He is currently being investigated for criminal charges. The dude was pulling folks over, not giving them the ticket, giving the department say, hey, I wrote these tickets today. These are all the tickets I wrote today, but didn't give the drivers the tickets. This man, not all heroes wear capes. Some of them wear badges, even though he's probably going to be, in the slammer.
I don't understand. So what happened when those tickets were, I mean,
They weren't given to the municipal court. He just put them in the internal. So he's basically saying, I wrote these tickets today. Boss, here's all the tickets I wrote today.
Got my
I just
quota.
want you to see them.
Got my quota.
Yep. And yeah, that's this. Eric Holmes should not be prosecuted. He should be celebrated. We should be celebrating this man. Give him a hand, folks. You know what? He wouldn't have given a ticket to the driverless car either.
or anybody else.
Anybody? Oh man, no citizens were issued citation from the fraudulent citation, so that was good. They didn't go back and give the people tickets
retroactively.
Thank goodness.
There we go. Okay, Eric Holmes, American hero, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Hey, folks down here in southern Middle Tennessee, just be glad you're not in Mobile, Alabama, where Jennifer Pulliam, no relation to Charles, I assume, is suing a developer and construction company because In January, someone came onto her property next to the Mobile Fairgrounds and tore down a home that had been in her family since the 1960s inadvertently.
Inadvertently?
Inadvertently.
They
Was not supposed to.
inadvertently raised a house.
This is my grandparents' old home place. They bought it in 1965. It's been in our family ever since. I live and work in Leakesville, Mississippi, and got word of the demolition through a family member. They didn't know. I was unaware of it until they saw a news story and they contacted me. Basically, she's suing them because they weren't supposed. Yeah, it was. Oops. What do you do at that point? Oops.
I don't know, but this would be worth keeping an eye on to find out. Maybe we can update this as well, because I don't know what you do after you tear somebody's house down accidentally.
Well, as for what kind of damages she hopes to recover, Pulliam didn't immediately have an amount in mind. I'm not sure what they'll come up with or how they'll come up with it, but the house is priceless to me.
Yeah, Mo, you can't just do Control Z on that one, can you?
No,
Control Z.
there's no Control Alt Escape or whatever on that one. Yeah, wow. Sorry, we accidentally tore down your family home.
Man.
That's been in the family for 50 years.
Since 1960.
Hashtag my bad.
Yep.
It's so crazy.
I feel a new segment coming on. Hashtag my bad.
Right there with this guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
My bad. Oh, man. Thank you guys for hanging out with us here on Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. And we'll be back tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. Mo, have you got the list?
For tomorrow. Who do we have? Oh, we've got Chris Hughes of Fairview coming on to talk a little girls flag football at 2:15, and that's all we have at this point.
Oh,
yeah. So we will have a second guest.
It's going to be a special mystery mouse Catool.
Yeah. TBA.
The guest to TBA. So if if you're out there and you want to be on the show,
yeah, if you want to come on for about 15 minutes with us tomorrow, give us a shout.
We got some room.
We'll throw a mic in your face.
It won't cost you much.
No.
There you go. All right, we'll be back again 2:00 tomorrow. Y'all come hang out with us. If you missed any part of the show, check out the podcast or the video cast on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, or MainStreetSportsToday.com. We'll be back tomorrow for Mo and JP. I'm Chris Yow saying have a great day. See you then.